What's up? It's Fizzy here, and today we're going to do the ultimate skill toy tier list. That's a little bit of a misnomer. It's going to be more like a celebration of skill toys, but we are going to tier them out. I will say before we start, there's so many skill toys, I cannot cover all of them, nor do I even have all of them. So if there's one that I completely missed, let me know in the comments. And the other thing is, these skill toys, they're all wonderful and there's no bad ones. So even though I'm going to be tearing them out, they are all awesome. And they also all come in a lot of varieties. So if you get the best version of any of them, they're going to be much better than the worst version of any of them. So, the best version of a B tier skill toy is probably gonna be better than the worst version of an S tier skill toy. All right, without further ado, let's get it going. I'm not gonna have anything in D or F tier today, so we're gonna get started with C tier. Number one, we've got a classic cup and ball. This one I made myself, and that's one of the great things about the cup and ball is you just tie a ball to a cup with a string and boom, you've got a cup and ball. You can also get them for like $1 at the toy store. Cup and ball, it's a lot of fun, but it's pretty limited in what you can do with it. This one's pretty tricky because the ball's a little bouncy, but yes, you just catch the ball in the cup. It's the most, generic, iconic skill toy, but it is very simple. Cool thing about these, you can make them yourself and do all sorts of variations. Here's one I made that's actually a ring and spike, but it's the same idea here. You're trying to catch that ring on the spike, right? So that's the same. And you can even go crazy with it. Make yourself a giant cup and ball, Right, so cup and ball, very cool, but we're gonna go C tier for cup and ball. All right, one more cup and ball here I made out of a glasses case, some applesauce cups. So we love the cup and ball, but that's C tier. All right, there's gonna be only one other thing on the C tier today, and that is this. This is a Geeker or a Capirucho, or in this case, it's actually a capsule from Catalina Kendama's. These are really fun. They're basically the same as a cup and ball. You get the thing on the spike and you just have a blast with it. These are just the essence of fun right here. Wonderful, wonderful toy, but limited in what you can actually do with it. So I'm gonna put that in C tier. All right. Now let's move to the B tier. First thing in B tier, I hope this isn't too contentious, but we've got a classic yo-yo. Yo-yos are fun. I'm really not very good at yo-yos, so if you're an incredible yo-yo slinger, this might be A tier or even S tier. But for me, it's B tier. It's something that I really just did as a child, and I never really caught on like some of these other skill toys, but there are so many tricks you can do. It's clearly a cut above that cup and ball, one way or another. So the yo-yo is gonna be the first B tier. I think you all know enough about that. I don't have to go further. All right, next B tier is going to be contact balls. These are actually not contact balls. They're just these weird things that somebody gave me that have like giant gashes in them and used to be ornaments or something. I don't even know. But contact balls are very cool. You can do a lot of like illusions with them and have them just appear to be floating, and there's a lot of manipulations and sleight of hand that can kind of be done with contact balls. You can roll them around your body and they're very cool. So I'm gonna put those in B tier. Next in B tier, we've got puzzle cubes. Puzzle cubes come in a lot of different styles. We've obviously got the classic Rubik's brand cube, which is not the best. This tiny version that's even worse than the Rubik's brand cube, these would probably be maybe down in C tier, but there's also some really cool puzzle cubes. Nowadays, we've got these maglev cubes that are held together with a complex magnetic core that makes them way more fun and just easy to turn. So skill cubes, puzzle cubes are definitely awesome. There's so many different kinds. Here's a 5x5. Here's a ghost cube that you got to get back to its shape. These things are amazing. I was totally obsessed with these. They're pushing A tier, but I'm gonna put them down here just because they are, you know, very intellectually focused. There's not as much of a physical element. Certainly there is. The best solves in the world, they're doing it in just like 3 seconds. It's crazy. So it's certainly, there's an athletic component to that, but in general, puzzle cubes are B tier, and I love them, but they're B tier. All right, next up in the B tiers, we've got Begleri. Begleris are really cool slinging toys. You can flip them around, do all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of different kinds. This one's magnetized from the ends there, and you can just do all sorts of slings with them. They're really nice pocket carry. They fit in your little bag, whatever. So we love Begleri, but they are B tier. The really good Begleri slingers can do some crazy tricks with them. So they're definitely cool. But yeah, Begleris are gonna be B tier. All right, next up in B tier, we've got knuckle rollers, knuckle bones. These things are cool. You get them, you know, doing all sorts of stuff around your fingers, and they're really satisfying. They're very quiet if you don't drop them. They're a great pocket carry, a great work fidget. We love knuckle bones. You know, if you get a few of them, you could probably juggle them, but they're not really great for that. So they're gonna be in B tier. All right, the next thing in B tier is coins. These are around square dead eyes, but really just any manipulation coins. These are verging on A tier, maybe because of the magic tricks you can do with coins, sleight of hand tricks, but I'm gonna put them in B just because they are a little bit limited, but they can do, you know, a lot of the same stuff as the knuckle bones. You can roll them across your, I'm not very good at these, but you can roll them across your knuckles and whatnot. So these are very cool. There's some isolations you can do where you make them kind of like the contact balls appear to float, which I'm also not good at, but coins, B tier. All right. And we got one more thing in the B tier, and that is balisong, or butterfly knife. This is verging on A tier because it is really cool, but I just feel like it's B tier. I mean, for one, you can't ever bust this out at school or work because it's literally a knife. I mean, maybe if you had a trainer, you could, but also this is just a horrible butterfly knife. This is like maybe as bad as it gets. This is probably dangerous for me to be even using. It's probably gonna explode and fall apart. But a nice one of these is really cool. There's all sorts of tricks you can do. It's kind of like the Begleri slinging, but more dangerous. So balisongs are in B tier. All right, next up, we're gonna be going to A tier. All right, the first thing in A tier, these are not the best at all. In fact, they're pretty crappy, but these are hacky sacks, foot bags. Foot bags are definitely A tier. There's so much you can do with them. You can definitely just juggle them, although I wouldn't recommend these as juggling balls. But in terms of, you know, just body tricks, bouncing on your knees, you know, foot, all that stuff, playing with your friends, kicking it back and forth, there's no doubt about it that hacky sacks, foot bags are A tier. All right, next up, we've got Chetki. Chetki are a lot like Begleri. They're slinging toys. They basically can do everything a Begleri can do, but they're extra cool because they can do more. You got these waterfalls, which are very fun to do with something like this, a round square Chetki. But you also have got the wearability. I'm wearing a couple right now. You can make these any which way you want. You can make them big, small, colorful, and they're really fun. So Chetkis are definitely A tier. All right, the next A tier that we're gonna have here is the Diablo. It's basically like a giant yo-yo. This one is not the best Diablo, but there's so many tricks you can do with the Diablo, and it's clearly a cut above some of these B tier ones, so I'm definitely putting Diablo in A tier. All right, next one in A tier is fingerboards. There is no limit to the number of tricks you can do on these. It's just like a regular skateboard, which is not going to be on here because it's not really a skill toy. It's more of a vehicle, but fingerboards, these are amazingly fun. You can grind them on ramps. You can build whole mini courses. The possibilities are endless. The skill ceiling is endless. So I'm definitely putting fingerboards in A tier. All right, and we got one more in A tier. These are not actually juggling rings, but just pretend they are. Juggling rings are also A tier. You can do a lot with them. So juggling rings, A tier. All right, and now what we've all been waiting for. It's time for the best of the best, S tier. First up, we've got juggling balls. Juggling balls are incredible. There's so many tricks you can do with juggling balls. There's so many different combinations. You can juggle 4, 5, 6, 7 to the moon. You can do all sorts of different patterns. You can do illusions. You can do magic tricks. You can do just about anything with juggling balls. It's so wonderful. Juggling balls are certainly S tier. There's no doubt about that. There's just no end to the fun you can have with juggling balls. And so they definitely are the best of the best. Juggling balls. Now, they're definitely juggling balls that are not the best. Like if you tried to use these foot bags or these toy store juggling balls, you might not enjoy them that much. But a good juggling ball, definitely S tier. All right, next up, on the same note, we've got clubs. Clubs are really, really fun. They're certainly S tier. I'm just getting into clubs the last few weeks here. Might be the most fun you can possibly have with skill toys, especially if you get someone else who also juggles clubs to pass with you. It is such a joy, such a wonderful feeling. Juggling clubs, definitely not the greatest for inside. They're kind of giant too, so you can't really carry them in your pocket or anything like that. But juggling clubs are amazingly fun. And I've been doing things to combine them with some other skill toys that are really fun. You know, you can do some balance tricks, balance a ball on top of a club, balance a club on top of a ball, you know, do it all, do some flips. So juggling clubs, absolutely S tier. All right, next up in S tier, we've got cards. Cards are really, really good. There's all sorts of sleight of hand, cardistry, beautiful magic tricks you can do. You can play games, you can gamble with your friends. Cards are certainly S tier. And finally, we're gonna get to my favorite of all, the one and only Kendamas. Kendamas are S plus tier. This is the greatest skill toy of all time. You can do anything with it practically. You know, everything that the cup and ball toy can do. Of course, that's the most basic. You know, we got 3 cups on there. We've got the spike. We've got all kinds of crazy flippy tricks you can do. We've got all the juggles. We've just got a million crazy tricks. You can go upside down with it, balance the Ken on top of the Tama, swap it around any which way. This is just the most wonderful skill toy in the world. And yes, of course I'm biased, but Kendamas are S plus tier. So there you have it. I'm sure I missed a few. Devil sticks are really cool. I don't have any on me right now. Poi, flaming poi, juggling torches. These things are all great. If there's anything else I forgot to mention, throw it in the comments. I hope you enjoyed. Fizzy out. Peace.